Who birthed the greatest artist, Jay-Z or Lil Wayne?
Oh yeah, they had that conversation. I think I think you got to give it to Jay Z, and the reason why is because you don't have a Nicki and you don't have a Drake without Jay Z, without Kanye. Because since Rihanna and Kanye fall under that Jay Z branch, I feel like you have them, but there's so much impact on their careers. You know, on people like Nicki and Drake's career from that come from that tree.
I don't think that was the question though. It was just which one's better. Because you could still have been influenced by them, but still be better than
I
them.
know. You're right. You're right. I mean, as far as making hits, obviously we're gonna give it to Lil Wayne people. But as far as like being like moguls, you got to give it to the Jay Z. Only one group of them is
We're
billion,
not
all
talking. We're not talking
billionaires.
about moguls though. We just
You're talking about the
which group.
music,
No, we're not just talking about music. We just which group you taking.
Jay Z's group. That's a hard one though. Like you got to admit that's a hard one because it's Drake obviously and Nicki are like Drake and Nicki.
I know these conversations and debates are all for good fun, but I'm gonna be the old guy in the room and say I hate when people do this.
I know.
Mostly just because it's like we have these people that impacted. You wouldn't even be able to account for how much of an impact that they've had globally on more than just music. And while I do know that the conversation is just to put a debate out there, people go back and forth and just have fun with it. I really do hate that we do that because
Because you can't compare.
yeah, like you
All like both groups were iconic
and
and all have done crazy things.
and have done different things. It's like one thing if they made like similar music, but none of them in that group make similar music at all. I would say that Jay-Z as a rapper, I think God, I'm about to get in my music nerd bag, but forever Southern music was always looked at, especially by New York and like West Coast, as being like what they doing over there. Like nobody really understood it because the slang, the way they talk, all that stuff was different. But like in the East, like people like Nas, Jay Z, Biggie resonated over here, and then out in the West, like Snoop and Pac resonated over there. And to me, Lil Wayne would be the equivalent of those people, but to the South. So to like immediately discredit just because maybe the lyrical content might be a little bit different, I don't really like that. But yeah, I just would, for the argument's sake, my preference would be like if I only had to listen to a certain group group's music forever, it would have to be Jay Z's, which is so tough because like a lot of Drake stuff, like obviously Drake makes a lot of really good music, but for me, it's more so Wayne's impact and the songs that he's done and mixtapes that he's dropped. That would be like that's the tough part for me because I don't really listen to Nicki too much. Like I listen anytime she drops, but it's not really like I'm not the audience for it, so I don't really listen to it like that. But I could kind of like live without her music, and I could live without Drake's because at this point, like any new music, I could live without. But that's what gives it to me. But I don't even listen to Rihanna that much on the other end.
Yeah.
So, but I listen to Rihanna more than I listen to Nicki. It's really a tough one, but definitely.
And that's why I think the argument too is just about superstardom. Can you think Jay Z like discovers superstars, and then you have Lil Wayne discover superstars? Like
Yeah,
these are like all these Rihanna,
it's tough.
Kanye, Drake, Nicki are all like cemented into being huge artists.
Yeah, it's like
So that's why it's like it says you can't really even make the comparison.
that's a tough one.
And like I said too, like if you do make the comparisons, like as far as like moguls though, like you got to give it. As far as moguls, you got to give it to Kanye and Nicki. I mean, sorry, Kanye and Rihanna and Jay Z, because like they're billionaires, you know. Ow, my hair's itchy. I'm gonna wait for you to come back.
Yeah. Definitely business wise, I don't really think there's a lot of debate there because like
That's just so crazy to me though. Like that you could literally birth like all three guys are billionaires. Like that's
the one thing I like that would be interesting to know is like how much of an impact Jay Z really had on them business wise. Because I don't even
I don't
know.
think they had an impact on him business wise.
Yeah, I feel like Jay Z probably didn't impact them too much business wise. Because even in the business that Rihanna and Kanye are in, that's something that. Well, then again,
I
Jay-Z
don't
did
think
have
he.
Rockaware.
Yeah,
I just mean like I wonder his impact in terms of like maybe keys that he gave them,
yeah.
or
Maybe he gave them advice.
doors he maybe had open, because he did that whole apparel Rockaware thing way before either one of them did,
Yeah.
Fenty or
But then
Yeezy.
you know Kanye's always had dreams of being in the fashion world, like always. So it's like I feel like he would have did it regardless.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's definitely a tough one, but I don't think on either side of the argument, I don't think either one is wrong,
Yeah.
because like just whatever your cup of tea is. Like I know a lot of people would pick Lil Wayne over, like, Lil Wayne's group over Jay Z's. Like I think honestly, probably most people would probably pick that, because I think the music is more
Music wise.
music is more, not that they necessarily make better music, but in terms of the music that was playing as you were growing up, you were gonna hear more Lil Wayne, Nicki, and Drake than you would have heard a Jay Z song. Because
Like they had an empire, literally.
like I don't hear I don't hear too many kids ever like listening to Blueprint 3 like I was at the time when it came out, because that was just I just like good music. I don't care who's making the music. Like I just like good music. So, but for the most part, kid, like, you can't really turn up to Jay Z music like that, because that's just not the type of music that he
But
makes.
that saying it's still good, but it's not like
Just like Kanye, like Kanye's
yeah.
music really
Kanye's music
sells.
is really good, yeah, but it doesn't hit the same as Nicki and Drake as far as like you know
Party,
club music,
yeah,
yeah,
like
like
people just don't like.
radio music.
So I'm sure most people would probably pick Wayne, but I thought it was an interesting debate. But definitely business wise, the way they carry themselves,
You gotta give it to Rihanna.
not Kanye so much, but mostly Rihanna.
You said not Kanye.
Yeah,
As far as carrying how he carry himself.
yeah,
Oh, okay, you mean how like Rihanna and Jay Z are kind of more like private, but like and they like have this certain like
it's mystique, it's
yeah
aura, it's like the
or
whole like thing that that Prince kind of like made a thing, was that people always tell stories about like when Prince walked in the room, like it was like he was floating. Like that's the kind of thing that I admire, when people hit a certain status and then they you just don't even hear from them. They're just like doing their own thing, living their own life. Like I personally like that. I don't really like people that like when people achieve like a bunch of things and then like are still out here acting as if like they didn't win.
yeah.
If that makes sense. Not that
I mean, I feel like Kanye does both though, because like you saw this Donda era, he was mute.
yeah, that's what I like.
This rollout was literally he didn't say a word, literally.
But like we were just seeing, and of course we always end up going on a Kanye little side thing. But when he was doing like the Ellen show and stuff like that, like I personally don't like that. Actually, I'm weird because I prefer people that I like to not see
Yeah,
them.
I don't like the Ellen Show thing, because the Ellen Show for me feels like something about her show. It just feels weird to me. I don't know. It feels very like commercialized, you know. Like they had commercial breaks and stuff. Like it doesn't feel like him. Like Drink Champs felt like him. Like he was around people that he felt comfortable with. That he could get his get everything off that he wanted to get off, and just be chilling. Ellen Show was like so commercial.
Yeah,
It's like game segment. This segment. It's just like
yeah, I don't like that. Drink Champs has that game thing too,
yeah,
which
but the way he did it is like different.
I still don't like the way. I still don't like going on games. I just want to hear from the
And
people.
nobody wants to do what they used to do. What was the Drink Champs one?
It was like either or, like you pick this or that.
I mean, it was cool, but it was just like
Yeah.
not necessary.
I just like my because I love the Drink Champs one because it's very insightful. I just like my superstars to act like not even superstars, they're beyond that. I like my icons, my legends to act legendary. Like we don't see Beyonce out too much. Like you don't.
I just saw a tweet about that other day too. Somebody said and they're thankful that Beyonce is quiet. They're like they actually used to hate that, but they actually said now that they're older, they're thankful for it. And they appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's like just chilling.
Yeah, you just
No dirt on her. No, she's not getting caught up in no stupid news articles. Like I think people are realizing how corny it is. Like how some of these celebrities just keep talking. It's like it's just corny.
Yeah, and I don't really want to hear it, um, but yeah. So that I just wanted to at least explain why my preference for music. I also like when people really take a really long time with their albums and like makes it at least sound like you, because you can hear the difference when somebody really sat with an album for a couple of years and like really worked on it. And I feel like I get that more with
With them.
with them because
Yeah.
with Jay, like he doesn't do albums very frequently. Kanye kind of does, but
It's weird because it seems like he doesn't, but then when you really look at his discography, he does. Like it's like every like 2 years,
yeah.
which is a good thing for a Kanye fan. You know, we love music.
But even some of those releases, I could have done without. Like I could have went without the Cruel Summer album. I could have went without the Ye album.
Yeah, like it was cool, but it's like wasn't really necessary.
Yeah, because even
I feel like during that era, he should just focus on the collabs. He should just focus on Pusha T's project, Nas, Ty Taylor. Like we didn't need Ye during that time.
yeah.
But yeah, that's why like what you were saying. Did you hear what Adele said about how she I think she actually pushed for Spotify to get rid of shuffle for albums. Did you
Yeah.
ever read that? I think that's like cool because it's like what you're saying, like we want projects and like and Adele's still like very into the keeping albums as like artwork and having like a storyline and being cohesive and everything. So
Spotify not gonna change that because that
no, I
was
think they did change it actually. People were making a joke saying, "Oh, of course, when a white woman spoke up about something in the music industry, it got changed immediately." I think they actually did take it off.
was it just for her album?
I think it was just for albums in general, like all albums.
Because
Let me look it up though. Let me.
that was part of their like marketing money plan. Like I can't imagine that they really just switched that just because she said something. Because that was part of the thing is that if you got like Spotify Premium,
Yeah. Look. Spotify has stopped shuffling albums by default.
so yeah, okay. So if you play an album, then
Yeah.
But if you still just go play any other thing, it'll like a
Yeah.
playlist. It'll still be shuffled unless
There's
you
a
pay
small
for it.
shuffle icon with the larger play button. This indicated that Spotify would begin playing the albums randomly when you wanted to listen to them. Now when you hit play, it plays in order. So I think before play, we'll still shuffle it. So you could still enable shuffle mode by toggling on the shuffle icon. But when you click play, like it won't automatically shuffle. Like in Apple Music, you click play and it used to be in order. For Spotify, you click play and it will just play like randomly. It will shuffle automatically.
Mine still does that, but I guess if you're playing a specific album,
Yeah, album.
because if I go play a playlist, it'll shuffle the playlist, and
Yeah.
I don't have any way to.
So, but it's probably just an album, yeah. Which I think that's cool.
Yeah, get your money up and you get some power.
Yep.
That's the thing, because she sold almost 1 million first week. People ain't even coming
That's
remotely close to that.
albums.
But when you
It's
sell
crazy.
when you selling 1 million first week, you get to talk a certain way. Because remember, it's 1 million first week times $10. An album is $10 million in one day or 1 week.
Some sick numbers.
That's just off of sales. It's not even with streaming or merch or nothing else, touring. So when you're generating that type of money, then you're able
You
to
have power, yeah.
yeah. And when you're not going crazy,
Yeah. Like
screaming on people in the public, like brands don't want to get behind people that do all that. But yeah, we definitely do have some people in our culture that have that power. But yeah, that's one of the only things I had.
I'm trying to see what else. I know, we didn't really watch the American Music Awards, so I don't really want to speak on that.
Yeah, I'm not watching
The
award
award
shows
shows,
anymore.
yeah. I'm just over them. Like they don't mean anything to me really anymore because I feel like we've seen enough times that these award shows like they don't really. I get as a celebrity that you'll be happy when you win one, but they don't really mean anything.
Was that the one that Tyler performed at, Tyler the Creator?
Yeah.
So I didn't watch the thing.
I heard it was good though.
But I heard it was really
Yeah.
good. But one thing I do want to say about that just quickly is that I'm happy that Tyler's he's had a really interesting career and transition
Yeah.
and stuff that he's been into. So it's really wild for somebody like me that's watched him and listened to his music from like the rip. And I know for a lot of people that listen to Tyler, the first thing that they could think of is Yonkers, and that's obviously the first thing I think of. But the visuals behind that, I remember I used to run that video back a million times.
That was like the first time I really seen like his visuals.
And just
And I was like, wow, this is like a cool concept.
yeah. and just seeing where he's at now, where he's getting the recognition of his artistic ability and being able to go, because he did his BET Awards one I watched, and that
Yeah,
one was really
that
good. So
was good.
being able to see it all
At
come to
least he's
life and
getting
come
his
full circle
flowers.
is definitely a crazy thing. And like what he referenced, and I always keep talking about this interview, but it was
Oh,
so
the last one,
insightful
yeah,
about
that
the High
last one was
97
good. It
one.
was good.
When he said that, when he was talking about cancel culture, and he was like, "Can you imagine if they got me out of here in 2012?" And like, because you see what he's been able to do since that whole thing where countries were banning him from coming there, like that's crazy.
Yeah,
And to be able to see where he's been able to take it from there, which is crazy. And that's why I don't like cancel culture, because, like you said, like what if all these people you cancel, you getting them out of there, and it's like, what could have been?
yeah.